In an upcoming HTML video, I'm going to be discussing the American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Specifically, I'm going to be discussing binary. Okay? Now, in that video, I'm going to try to have you imagine a slot machine. Now, if you've ever been to Las Vegas or anywhere where you're talking about gambling, you've probably seen a slot machine. If you have never seen a slot machine, do a Google search and you can see a slot machine. Now, usually slot machines will have three little windows like this. Okay? And usually in those you'll have apples and cherries and oranges and bananas and whatever. But this time I'm going to have you imagine a slot machine with 8 windows instead of 3. Okay? And in these windows, there will be only 2 things in them. You will either be a 0 or a 1. Okay? And here's the reason why. Because 8 bits creates a byte. Okay? Now, I covered this in a previous video, but I'll go ahead and cover it again. Now, let me say that again. 8 bits equals 1 byte. Okay? 8 bits equals 1 byte. Okay. Now, how does the American Standard Code for Information Interchange actually work? Well, each byte represents 1 character. And you say, what are you talking about in the line of characters? Alright, there are 26 characters in the English alphabet. And there is a whole slew of characters in the Chinese alphabet. Then there are special characters like the exclamation point, the period, the question mark, the asterisk, the ampersand. That's a character too. And all of these, each one of those characters is represented by a different byte. Okay? Now let me show you how this works. Okay? Now, what we're going to have here is, whoops, nope. Okay? I apologize for these little pauses, okay? Oops, don't want the number too close. Now, I will explain this again in greater detail in the HTML video I'm about to upload to the internet. Probably won't be tonight, but it'll be soon. Okay? Now, anyway, you have these columns here. Now, let me tell you a little bit about bits. Okay? Bits are like light bulbs. They're either on or they're off. Okay? If light is shining from a light bulb, that means it's on. In binary, that means 1. And the reason why I say that is because when you say that there is a 1 in the bit section, what you're saying is there is electricity passing through a circuit. Okay? When you say 0, what you're saying is the absence of value. And this is something very important because I'm going to be discussing this in my HTML series as well. Okay? When you're talking about the null character is not 0. Okay? This is kind of a misconception here. They say 0 because it's easier for your mind to accept the fact that it's 0, but it's really not. It's actually the absence of value. That means it has no value at all. It's not really 0, it just has no, it's even 0 as a value. If you look at mathematics, 0 is a value. This is a no value at all. There's nothing there. It's an empty space. Okay? It's like an empty box. Okay? If your box is empty, there's nothing of value in the box. So it's more important to remember that the null character is the absence of value rather than 0, because 0 is a value. Okay? Anyway, let's go on here. To represent the 0, okay, the circuit has to have, well, in this case, to represent the 0, what you do is you have this, okay? Your circuit is divided up into 8 different parts. And if there's electricity flowing through any of these parts, then these will become 1. And I'll show you that in just a second. Okay? Now then, if there's no electricity flowing through your circuit at all, then that represents the null character. Okay? So what the computer interprets as there's no electricity here, you interpret as a human being that there is a null character on your computer. Okay? Now, computers always start their counts from 0. When I ask you to count from 1 to 10, usually you'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. But that's not what computers do. Most of the time, when you're talking about JavaScript, or you're talking about BB script or something like that, it will start from 0. If you ask a computer to count from 1 to 10, guess what it's going to do? It's going to say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and etc., etc. That's what it's going to do. Okay. So, in my video that I'm going to upload soon, I'm going to talk about the 4th character in the American Standard Code for Information Interchange. I'm going to talk about the 4th character in that. Okay? But remember, computers count from 0, not from 1. So the 4th character will actually be 3. Then they go, wait a minute. But usually the 4th character would be 4. But remember, computers start from 0. They do not start from 1. So the 4th character to a computer is going to actually be 3. How do you represent 3 in binary? Okay. There is electricity flowing through this part of the circuit and this part as well. So what is 2 plus 1? It's 3. And that tells the computer that it is to display the 4th character in the ASCII code. Okay, and that's the American Standard Code of Information Interchange. Okay. So when the computer sees that you've added 2 and 1 together, which makes 3, it will display the 4th character in the list of the American Standard Code for Information Interchange characters. That's what it'll do. So, again, what the computer says is 3, which is this 2 plus 1, you would interpret as the 4th character in the ASCII code. Whew. I know that's a little confusing, but I think you get the gist. Alright? Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is the Unicode, and I'm not going to talk about it here tonight, but I'm going to talk about it in my HTML video. Now, what happens with that is that a certain portion of this circuit is reserved to tell it that it needs to either look at 1 byte of data or 2 bytes of data before it formulates the character code that it displays on the screen. And I'll get into greater detail about that in my HTML video. But I wanted to publish this and let you see what this was all about. So that hopefully you're not too confused. If you get confused, leave a comment down here in the comments below. I will tell you more in a future video, so I want you to stay tuned.